also have an ears page, sort of like you do with the Garmin 430s. So you can go through if you wanted to find out some information on, say, Sheboygan. Pull up the info page on that, and airport elevation, all your frequencies, visuals, etc. You also have not only airports, but you have VORs, NDVs, intersections, and obstacles. So a bunch of different information in there to keep good situational awareness. And here, the next chapter we have our checklists. This has all your checklists in it. Of course, Ember Riddle, instilled good etiquette, so I still have paper checklists as well. But we have, right now we can go through our basic checklist on the ground. So if we want to go through before taxi, this would show our checklist. As you go through, you hit done. One of the neat things about this is if you're one of those persons that does a do checklist, as you do it, you do the brakes, you do the flaps, you go down, you come back up, it highlights it green, gives it a nice little check mark, so if you do go back, you get distracted, you go back to it, you know exactly where you left off, and you don't miss anything critical. Anyway, select through. Set it up for the next checklist. It also does performance data. So if you forgot what your airspeed charts were, you just pull up airspeed charts. You can go back. You also have your cruise settings, depending on what you're wanting, what information you're trying to get. It has all that performance data in there as well. No matter what page you're on, if you're in the normal checklist or normal chapters, you'll always see this emergency checklist down here. So you can always key that, and it'll show up all your emergency checklists. You just scroll down to which one it is, show it, and there she goes. And then, let's see, we can go back to our normal checklist, and in flight, actually before takeoff, show checklist, good deal. Like I said, there is a setup page, so a lot of this information that we have in here is all designable. You can set it up and configure it to your own personal preferences. And then, of course, we have an engine monitoring page. In the engine monitoring page, you're going to find some redundancy. You have an RPM here, RPM there, manifold pressure down here, manifold pressure. You also have percentage of power, which is new, and then oil temp and oil pressure. Of course, we have that here as well. Your amps and volts, and your electrical system over here. We also took the EGT and cylinder head temperature. Instead of having one gauge for the whole thing, we've got it over here split off into 6 individual cylinders. So instead of getting one needle showing you the whole engine, now you can get a trend. So if you lost your number 3 cylinder, you're probably going to see it a lot quicker over here than if you're looking at a big old needle that's registering the whole engine. That way there you can hopefully put it down and avoid something catastrophic. Fuel information. It's going to give you all the fuel information. You got fuel flow. Right now we're burning 2.1 gallons per hour while we're sitting here. We've used 0.3 gallons so far, and we have 70.9 remaining. It's also, once we're moving, it's going to show us our time remaining and also the economy, which is typically better than a Ford Expedition. We also have outside air temperature up here, which is getting balmy 81 degrees, or if you prefer, you can read it in Celsius, whatever is comfortable for you. It also has a leaning mode, so it'll walk you through the lean assist. You plug lean assist right here, you bring back in the mixture, it'll tell you when you're at best power or best economy, instead of searching for the numbers. So it has a lot of helpful features like that as well. Coming down to the audio panel, the Garmin 430s, if you're not familiar already, basically you cover up this half. What you have is COM1, NAV1, and COM2, NAV2, and then all these features over here operate those comms and NAVs. Covering it up on this side is all your GPS information. Same thing up there, you have a bunch of different chapters. Right now we're in a nav chapter, so you've got your heading indicator with a bunch of information. You're going to have a mapping mode, you're going to have, this has Skywatch, Storm Scope, all your frequencies, heading indicator. EPF and GPS information and vertical navigation. Within those, you also, some of the other chapters or waypoints with a lot of information, auxiliary flight planning pages, and nearest airports. This does some of the same features that does, but this goes a little further as well. So you have nearest airports, intersections, NDVs, VORs, user waypoints, ARTCs, flight service, airspace, you name it, it's in there. And it has a lot of speed key features. So if we wanted to all of a sudden say we wanted to go to 79 Charlie, we highlight it down there, correct, enter, and she'll activate and then draw us a nice little course to 79 Charlie. She puts it there, she puts it over there as well. A lot of different little features. Coming down, you also have the SX55X autopilot, works really good in conjunction with the primary flight display. This has a heading mode, it also has a nav mode, and it also has a GPS steer mode. It will climb and capture altitudes, descend, capture altitudes. It will capture localizers, capture glide slopes, and shoot the whole approach. The only thing you're really doing is monitoring your fuel flow and checking your checklists and avoiding traffic like you should be doing. So it simplifies things very well. We also have the Garmin transponder, which we will turn that to off. They do want these on off or standby while we're in a 30 nautical mile range, so we'll do well with that. Down here we have our throttle lever. This is a constant speed prop, so you do have your RPM and manifold pressure. What this does is it's a simple mechanical construction. It At full forward, you're dealing with a high RPM, high manifold pressure. As you bring that throttle back, what it's going to do is it's going to drop your RPM down to 2500 RPM and leave it at an ideal 2500 RPM. At that point, you're adjusting. Anytime you bring it further back than that, until you get to the detent, you're adjusting manifold pressure. Once you get past that detent, then you're simultaneously adjusting RPM and manifold pressure at the same time. And it just simplifies things so you're not sitting there dealing with multiple levers, dealing with a throttle and a prop lever, and of course the mixture as well. That was one of the ideas with this aircraft. You've got a fixed gear, no cowl flaps, simplicity, keeping it simple, keeping it safe.
So basically you're saying all this stuff that we just went over is to keep it simple.
It is, believe it or not. You know, there's some software that Garmin provides that makes it really easy to learn this stuff on the ground, which is where you should be learning all this stuff anyway. You never want to just jump into the air and start figuring this stuff out, you know, by yourself. You want to spend some time on the ground and get comfortable with it. But once you do get comfortable with it and you understand what this information is and what it's going to give to you, and you understand some of the quick features, at that point, then it actually gives you a lot of availability to look out and be situational aware.
Now, buyers have a 20-hour course that they go through if they purchase an aircraft?
They get a free 2 days. They have a 2-day training course up at the plant in Duluth, Minnesota, and most of that, I mean, for the most part, flying an airplane is, you know, something they've already been doing. Typically, when somebody purchases an aircraft, they've already become a pilot. So flying an airplane is the easy part. The 2 days is getting used to certain different characteristics like pitch attitudes with this aircraft, and primarily the avionics, and becoming comfortable and familiar with the avionics of this aircraft. And we use the University of North Dakota. We have a good working relationship with them, and they do the training over there out of Duluth with us.
005 Charlie, clear for takeoff.
They don't want communication here, just hand signals and nods. And the engine instruments are in the green, and the airspeed is alive.
Traffic.
Like I said, some people are still going to be using
traffic.
What it's going to show you is the yellow one is the one that's supposed to be the most greatest concern, and he's 200 feet below us and behind us, so somebody still on the ground has theirs squawking. We'll leave the landing light on for situational awareness, and we'll go out for 5 miles from Oshkosh.
Well, it's nice doing 160 knots at 500 feet.
Now we're doing 107. At a true airspeed of 168, this will actually give you your winds aloft, direction, heading, and even a nice little visual arrow in case you like specifics. We're actually up to 174 knots now.